No, the Agostinho Zinga Show without your host, Agostinho Zinga, and this is episode number 886. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate all of you for tuning in. It's always a pleasure. Never, ever, 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 ever a chore. For those of you tuning in live via the flipping, whatever else platform that you're on, make sure you smash that flipping like button down below or along the way. And also subscribe to the channel, that good stuff. That'd be greatly appreciated. And everybody else tuning in, just sit back and relax and enjoy a jam-packed, action-packed, all things in between show, talking about everything else culturally related. Actually, what's happening with my mic? Your mic a little bit mad. Let me just quickly check here. What's happening? Maybe I need to put it up to 20, maybe over there. Maybe that would help. But if you're tuning in, appreciate all of you. Yep, there we go. Okay, cool. So let's talk about what happened today. So the first thing I want to talk about, obviously discuss, is the flipping Playboi Carti album. I'm sure a lot of you out there have probably listened to it. You've probably heard it, and I have some interesting thoughts regarding the album. Now that I've sat with it for the last 48 hours or so, and we all went through a bit of a nightmare waiting for it to drop. I think I was up really late at night on the Friday, hoping it'd drop on the 4 a.m. and then, through various streamers like Kai CNET and stuff, we found out that it was being pushed back a few times. But then when the track listing came out, I think my fears were alleviated because I saw 30 tracks. I was like, okay, cool. At least it's given us 30 tracks, right? For all the way it's been like, because last time I think I did the maths wrong, but I think it's been 5 years since the last flipping album. It doesn't feel like 5 years ago a whole lot already dropped, but I guess it has been 5 years because I guess there was a pandemic in between. So that sort of like sped through time, but I can't believe it's been 5 years since Whole Lot of Red dropped, which is absolutely crazy. No, not 5. Is it 4 years? Maybe it's 3. It doesn't really matter. Who cares? However long it's been a long time. It's been way more than 2, because I thought it was 2 years since Whole Lot of Red dropped. But it's been a long freaking time. So we've all been waiting for IM Music. It's been very much anticipated. And do I think it met the demand? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's a little bit underwhelming. It's still really good for what it is. I think one of the best things about this album is that it reminds you why he's so special, right? That's what the album does. I think this album reminds you why this guy is so special and why he can't really be matched. No one can really come close to matching his artistry, or come close to basically whatever else that he does. I think everyone else in the scene is somewhat irreplaceable. It's somewhat replaceable. I think Carti isn't so replaceable. Off the bat, I think in terms of intros for IM Music, I don't think it goes as hard as Whole Lot of Red. I don't think it goes as hard as Dial It or Self-Titled. Pop Out is a good track, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it really sets the tone as well as the other ones have. I also have to say, I think Akademiks played a big role in terms of overhyping this album. When he was on his streams or on his Twitter saying this is the greatest album since of all time. It's gonna be Carti's DS2. It's gonna break him into the mainstream. After listening to it, I still think Dial It was Carti's DS2. I think that Dial It was the one where everybody kind of woke up to like, okay, cool, this kid's special. I think Whole Lot of Red as well kind of solidified that and kind of separated him from the pack. But I think he already has his Dirty Sprite 2. I don't think IM Music is his Dirty Sprite 2. If anything, IM Music just continues on, or maybe refines what he was trying to do on Whole Lot of Red. Whole Lot of Red was a little bit of a smorgasbord of different ideas, different sonics, different tones, different sounds. And I think he's been able to kind of synthesize whatever that sound is, that kind of mushy, muddy, bass heavy, I don't know, synthy type of sound that he's kind of going for. I think he's really kind of honed in on it now. If it was me and I was being really picky, I'd say it maybe isn't as adventurous as I hope it would be. I want him to really push the envelope a little bit. Like, for instance, like the addition of the choir in Crush, I thought was amazing, because I don't think we heard that in the actual sample. No, in the actual leak, the first snippet that we heard. I don't think the choir was included in the snippet for Crush. But the addition of Crush, the addition of the flipping choir, I think really fucking sets that record up and gives it that kind of punch. So you can only imagine how good this album's going to sound live. And that's the thing that I'm thinking now. Because initially, when I reviewed this album, when I gave my initial kind of knee-jerk review that I posted up there on fucking social, I said the following. This is when it first dropped and I had the first listen of it, because I'd like to listen to my albums all the way through. The best place I usually do that is in the gym, but it could be anywhere really. But I want to listen to it all the way through without touching anything and not skipping or not going back on a track. I went through the entire thing. And this was my initial review just as I finished my gym session. I said the following. My initial review of Playboi Carti I Am Music is it's underwhelming, dare I say mid, and way too long. Had it playing in the gym and I noticed that I started to drag and get a bit repetitive from track 17 onwards. But I also think the second half of the album is better than the first. But so far I ain't liking it too much, but I said the same thing about Whole Lot of Red initially, and I ended up changing my mind once I heard Carti perform it live. Maybe it will be the same for this one, but so far my verdict is that it's not that good. Cocaine Nose is my favorite track so far. That Ashanti Only You sample flip is super hard. So that was my initial reaction. I've kind of moved from that. I don't think it's mid. I won't go as far as saying it's mid. I just don't think it matches up or it's lived up to the expectation, which I think is unfortunately something that's happened a lot in culture, in arts in general. I think a lot of things that we've been kind of hoping and pining for haven't really met, expectation in that regard. And I think the same happened with I Am Music. He probably took too long to drop it. And now this is what we kind of got. I think I'm happy that he dropped 30 tracks to kind of feed the fans. He didn't drip feed it and give us a deluxe for next week. He just gave us everything that was kind of, the best tracks that basically were made in this process of putting I Am Music together, which I think is fucking amazing. So great to see that. But I would go back and say, I still think maybe the first 10 tracks are still super hard. I have to be honest, I don't really like the Rather Lie track with The Weeknd. Not my favorite, to be fair. I think it feels a little bit out of place in there. But I think overall, those first 10 tracks are pretty solid. So as much as I would say that I sonically prefer 17 onwards, I still think 10 is still great. If anything, probably you could get away with, whittling this album down to probably 20 tracks. I think 30 for artists like Carti is too much. Because I did feel like it was dragging. When I was in the gym listening to it, by track 17, I got a bit tired. Even though I listened to it the second time around, by track 20, I got a little bit tired of it. I'm probably going to do a real deep dive on the tracks when I actually end up streaming this on my Kick channel. So if you're not subscribed to the Kick channel, make sure you do. I'll put the link in the description when I finish this or whatever it may be. But I'll probably do a proper track-by-track playlist or track-by-track sort of like breakdown of the album. But overall, after listening to it 3 or 4 times, it's kind of resonating a little bit different for me now. And I'm imagining what it's going to sound like live. A lot of these records are going to pop immensely live, especially, stuff like Evil Jordan, Mojo Jojo, especially. That's the track that features, what's his name? Kendrick Lamar ad-libs on it. That beat flip in the beginning is going to go fucking crazy. The crush is going to go crazy. Pop-Out's going to go crazy, you'd imagine. I really fucking like the track with Skepta, Toxic, number 11. I thought that was fucking incredible. I didn't think the future features were that good, I'm not going to lie. I didn't really rate the future features that highly. I thought the Young Thug feature also wasn't that good. I thought that was a bit underwhelming. It sounded kind of rushed. I don't know. He didn't really snap the way I thought he was gonna snap. The only feature that really spun, I think, the only feature that really went hard was Lil Uzi Vert. Lil Uzi Vert smashed it on his features, especially Twin Trim. Ooh, Twin Trim, incredible. I'm still not sure what trim means slang wise. Whether it actually means, physical, whether it actually your trim shape, whether trim is short for like not tripping. I'm not too sure what it actually means, but regardless, I think Twin Trim is absolutely fucking incredible. OPM Baby is also one of my favorites on there as well. Obviously Hood by Air, HBA goes fucking crazy. I actually think the last track, South Atlanta Baby, is also underrated and very good as well. But overall, if I'd give it a rating, I'd probably say about maybe a 7 out of 10. I don't think it's better. I think it probably is better than Whole Lot of Red. Yeah, I'd probably say in terms of my favorite Carti albums, it'll probably go Dilate, Self-Titled, I Am Music, then Whole Lot of Red. That's where my list would go. I think some people have I Am Music to be the third or to be the second best, but I don't think that's true. I think that's a recency bias. I think if you listen to fucking Self-Titled and Dilate today, like, front to bottom, it's fucking flawless. There's no skips on those at all. Those tracks still fucking float today. They still fucking bang. And those tracks are fucking phenomenal. But I just think in terms of like maybe honing his sound and getting down to what he's really about, he kind of smashed it with this particular album, I Am Music. And I think if you probably want a good little sample of what he's about, Carti, this is probably the best place to start. So I really recommend you check it out. But yeah, the drop was fucking nerve-wracking, man. Everyone on social basically getting nervous because it didn't drop when it was meant to drop at, was it 4 p.m. EST or something? He pushed it back several hours, and basically he dropped it right at the last moment, essentially. I still am of the belief that he only dropped it on the day he did, not because of the leakers, but because of all the pre-orders for the merch and stuff. He didn't want to refund the people, so he had to just get dropped whenever it got dropped. But I think what we've seen with it is that he still has, you know, despite all these new kids popping up, there's a cool underground scene here in the UK. There's a bunch of new kids popping up in the US as well, Atlanta specifically, like all those Nine Vicious and all those type of dudes, Skate Star and shit, right? And what's his name, Tazz, whatever his fucking name is. There's a bunch of them popping up as well. He's still the guy. He's still the fucking guy, so it's great to see. I'm just curious to see what the live performances are going to be like. What's the aesthetic? Is he actually going to rap the tunes on the fucking stage? Will he just do the aura farming thing? I'm not really too sure, but I'm really curious to see how he ends up kind of, you know, figuring this whole thing out. The rollout on the socials has been pretty cool as well, I think. As I said before, some of the track listings and the features that were dropped on the fucking thing were interesting. I think people obviously sussed out pretty quickly that one of the features that was blocked out was the Kendrick Lamar feature, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too sure if it was needed, you know? I think Good Credit was the one, right? Good Credit. I don't think Kendrick Lamar's feature was that necessary. I think some people are hypothesizing that, I think Good Credit's one. I think Good Credit's one where he actually raps, right? I think some people are hypothesizing that he may have sent some lyrics or some bars at fucking Drake or something in this particular record. I think I heard, what's his face? I think I heard Akademiks basically say that people are reaching and making big deal out of nothing, and essentially now he's getting bored and tired of every single time that they drop, people trying to decipher and figure out if one person's selling for the other person, which I think is kind of rich coming from Akademiks, because I feel like Akademiks played a big role in sort of like, you know, making something out of nothing when it comes to the Kendrick and Drake beef anyway. So for him to sit there and say that, oh, he's kind of over this, you know, hyper-analyzation of their lyrics and stuff is fucking hilarious. But I don't think it was that necessary. I think I maybe agree with Kanye in that respect. Although I don't agree with Kanye when saying that he doesn't enjoy Kendrick's music. I enjoy Kendrick's music. I just don't think it's needed on all the features. If anything, I think Kendrick did way better on Mojo Jojo. Like the fucking ad-libs he added to that fucking track, I think really give it an extra punch. But I'm not really too sure if his style fits what Carti tries to do. So it's the same like Jay-Z. Do you know what I mean? If you wouldn't, I don't think Nas or a Jay-Z or a Black Thought would really blend well with Carti when it comes to this type of record. So I wasn't that impressed with the Kendrick feature. The Future feature, like I said before, again, not too impressed either. I don't think he did too well. Young Thug also wasn't that great. Lil Uzi Vert and probably Skepta are probably the standouts. And I also think Ty Dolla $ign sounded a little bit jarring when I heard it back. I'm not gonna lie. It sounded like a record that probably should have been on fucking Kanye's album. I don't think it belonged on fucking Carti's album. But regardless, we got what we got. We got here another post here featuring Carti sitting down with Young Thug. We got Carti posting here that he was #1 trending on social, which he was. All the streamers were playing it. Everyone on my side of social media was fucking going crazy over it, of course. There's a FaceTime call here with Skepta, of course, listening to the record itself. There's another post here with Lil Uzi Vert that looks fucking sick as well. Flexing the watch as well. Going crazy. More fucking, #1 trending post as well, United States of Iron Music. He says, I'm taking this shit for granted. We came too far to pump fake, which is great to see in the caption, some emotion from him. I would like to see an actual interview, I'm not going to lie. I know we don't get a lot of media, a lot of interviews from him. He's been talking indirectly through streamers, but not actually going on their streams to talk about this shit. But I would love to hear what he kind of thinks, his thoughts and feelings about the game at the moment. That's the full track listing, as you can see there. Still surprised that we didn't get any Destroy Lonely Ken Carson features, you know. Interesting. Like, they're all featured in a lot of the media, a lot of the videos, a lot of the fucking promotional material, but they're not featured on any of the songs. I think that's a bit weird, you know? I think that's a bit strange. Having two of your main artists not featured on the album, which has been highly anticipated, was a bit bizarre, but, you know, maybe there's a plan going forward to have them on something else. There's Kai Cenat on the stream here listening to it. I thought he was pump faking, I'm not going to lie. I don't think Kai Cenat enjoyed it. I think he was pump faking. I think he was trying to pretend like he was enjoying it, but I don't think he enjoyed it too much. But he couldn't really say he didn't, so he had to kind of play like he was enjoying it. But I'm just liking personally that these fucking streamers are out here doing this, because at least they are listening to music. That's one of my greatest critiques of like people like Akademiks. Like, he's pioneered that whole caring about first week sales things, which I think is super important. Caring about who's got their masters, who's signed to what label, what advance they got, all the money in the business side and some of the gossipy, messy shit. But there's not a real lot of attention put on the quality of the music or the music in general. So at least with these streamers, just because by default, because they have to do it, they are sitting down and listening to these listen to these albums in full on live stream. I quite like this. I'm not gonna lie, it's quite refreshing to see. And they're reviewing the albums, you know, when they drop. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it when it did drop, because by that time everyone already had done it before. So I'll probably do a little in-depth one on my Kick stream soon. So check that out as well at kick.com/Casino Zinga. The link should be in the description. But it's great to see with these streamers doing these fucking live reactions. This person, Corn, on this screenshot, courtesy of Playboi Carti, what you call it, Finster account, which is Opium. 30 songs, about 25 hits. I respect it. This person, Corn, says this nigga really had me listen to a 30-song album at 9 a.m. in the morning with only one miss. It's time we had some uncomfortable conversations. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say there's one miss. I think that's a bit extreme. I think for a 30-track album, I think I would say there's 20 really good tracks on there. The 10 could really go, which probably is a good ratio still. But I don't think there's one miss. I think there's more than one miss on there, personally, for me. But, you know, maybe I'm being overly critical. There's another post as well of him talking to somebody called Dead Boy Life. Fuck nigga, ain't miss a beat. I'm surprised you even on Earth right now. The glazing is incredible with this one. Big up the glazing. Gotta love that. Good to have some glazing like that on your fucking timeline. Hold up. Let's play this quickly. This is Carti in the studio. Nice. We see the emotes, which I'm liking, right? New emotes dropped, courtesy of Carti and his boy in the fucking studio. Love to see it. New emotes just dropped, vibing, doing the dance, having the good vibes, doing everything that needs to be done, wearing all different, you know, different material shades of black on, you know, dripped out in the diamonds and shit, having a good time, skanking in the studio, probably tiring out the engineers and the producers, you know, by stopping every 2 seconds and whatnot. But this is the life they're living, isn't it? This is the life that they're living. You got the YLV New Era that's probably going to be dropping soon as well, with the merch as well. Love to see it. What else have we got here? Bottom line tonight, keep that motherfucking, what's that thing called? Keep that motherfucking promise. I think that's Young Lord there as well in the background. Carti wearing True Religion head to toe. Love it. Contrasted True Religion. Classic. You can't go wrong with that. Out there in the background, riding, having a good time. Lifestyle, oral maxing. You know how we do. Alright? Everybody's shocking. Everybody's skanking. Having a good time. Diamonds. But to be fair, Carti's, you know that whole meme online about, oh, rappers don't have chains that diamonds that dance. Everyone at Opium, I think, does. You have to give these guys credit. Everyone at Opium does have diamonds that dance. Like, their diamonds look like they look real. You know? Like, the light. They start dancing and sprinkling all over, or sparkling all over the place. They don't look like everybody else is like dull diamonds. So at least got to give them that. Good to see. Everyone's having a good time. Young Lord's obviously in there as well. So the connection to ASAP Mob is still there. Carti is still #1 streaming there. He's loving it. #1, Craig. He's fucking loving it. #2 is Drake. Another person. This post is fucking incredible. Look at this. Look at this pendant. Because rappers do this all the time, right? Every time they drop an album, it's part of, you know, it's just traditional, I guess, for rappers to buy a pendant to kind of mark the occasion. And he got made this really incredible YLV hand sign pendant covered in diamonds. On the index finger, there's a diamond ring on it. The fingernails look like they're made, I don't know, some sort of platinum or silver. The pendant itself looks heavy and weighty. It dances crazily. I think it's by a person called Mavani who does jewelry. It looks incredible, and I'm not really a big jewelry, gaudy chain pendant guy, but that looks fucking hard as hell. So all in all, it's a good time to be Playboi Carti right now. Every song is featured in the top charts here. Evil Jordan, Crush, Rather Lie, love to see it. Dabo, the streamer as well, who's fucking in love with Carti, so I mean nobody's fucking with you. He's happy about that. More screenshots showing that Carti's music has broken all the records on Spotify. Carti's Evil Jordan debuts at #1 in the global Spotify chart. Okay, cool. Evil Jordan's the #1 song, yeah? Okay, didn't expect that. Carti's music has earned 139 million listeners. My album, cool. Everybody's loving it. Everybody's loving it. And of course, we've got this fucking iconic picture of LeBron James also holding up the YLV finger signs as well in the air. Dangerous mosh pits. Allegedly, he's performing at Rolling Loud. Really? There's a Rolling Loud performance. Rotted. Okay, cool. So we'll get to see how those tracks hit tomorrow. We'll get to see how they hit tomorrow, which I can't fucking wait. We will get to see how those tracks actually hit tomorrow. How many people in the crowd know the lyrics already? I cannot wait. I cannot fucking wait to see that footage. I think that'll give us a real big sign of what's going on out there in the streets. But so far, I've enjoyed it. I fucking enjoyed it. And like I said, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. I don't think it's better than A Whole Lot of Red. No, I don't think it's better than Dilate. I don't think it's better than Self-Titled. But I do think it's better than A Whole Lot of Red. So Iron Music, definitely in my top 3 of Playboi Carti's albums released. And I'm just happy he gave the fans 30 tracks to choose from. You could probably delete some tracks and make your own sort of album based off what's there available. But so far, so good. So far, so good. Big up Chris Mack. Big up Youngwood Vibes. Big up Triz Kits, Dollar Store, Kurt Cobain Glasses. Carti is mid. I honestly think Rich the Kid is better than Carti. He has no substance. It's just computers doing most of the work for him. Jesus Christ, bro. Dollar Store, Kurt Cobain Glasses. Yep, you're right, by the way. No, these are from Amazon. So they're not actually dollars. I think they're £5, £10, technically. So you are right about me being a Dollar Store Kurt Cobain sunglass wearer. Carti is mid. I don't agree with that one. Maybe you could say this album is mid, but I don't think he's mid. Honestly, think Rich the Kid is better than Carti. I think that's blasphemous. I think you are being hyperbolic, and you know that. Yeah, I don't think even you believe that, Trizkit. He has no substance. It's just computers doing most of the work. I don't think that's the case. I think the substance is what makes him different. I think a lot of people could probably make the type of music that Playboi Carti makes, but his little bit of star power and his magic he sprinkles over the tracks is what gives it the extra bit of level, you know? I think we've seen loads of artists, even people on his label, Destroy Lonely, King Castle be the biggest examples. They could probably sonically make the same records that Carti does make, but they can't really add that extra bit of star power. So I don't think he has no substance. And also, what does substance mean? You know, the substance mean you have to have really, like deep bars. You have to be like rappy, boom bap shit to be substance. Do you have to be fucking like Common? Do you have to be like J. Cole? Do you have to float like Black Thought? Like, like what determines substance? Just because you kind of dumb it down or whatever, does it mean you lack in substance? I'm not too sure. Big up Youngwood Vibes. Carti is overrated. I don't agree. Big up Don Dota. Big up. He needs to go take care of his kid. Yeah, that ain't happening. Maybe the kid's bad vibes, man. Everyone keeps saying he needs to go look after the kid, but maybe that kid is bad vibes. One of the best things to come out of this whole drop from flipping Carti has been this beef that's emanated from the release of it, has been Akademiks going at fucking YesJulz. So Akademiks was the unofficial PR spokesperson for Carti during this album release, and he was saying on his streams that Kendrick Lamar is a creative director of Iron Music, which was weird, right? Thing to say. And then obviously Filthy, someone that's worked intensely with fucking Carti across the years, basically went on Twitter to say that's not true. Yeah. And I think, Akademiks got upset about that for some reason and was like, no disrespect to Filthy. I don't know who the fuck Filthy is. Kendrick is on the album, whether it's creative direction, executive producer, I don't give a fuck. I'm only going off Carti told me. So he's trying to say that Carti told him Kendrick is the creative director, and Filthy's saying that's not true. So maybe Carti did tell, Akademiks that, maybe as a joke, maybe as something, just like as an anecdote, or just to be kind of funny, or just to kind of, play around, or just whatever, or in a non-serious way. Akademiks took it literally like he is a creative director. Filthy said he wasn't. And then off the back of that, YesJulz popped up and basically said, who the fuck is this guy? How is he involved in music? And how are you the biggest Carti fan, but you don't know who fucking Filthy is? Which I think is an accurate thing to say. But I guess Akademiks didn't like it coming out of YesJulz's mouth. So Akademiks went after YesJulz in the most epic way possible. I swear to God, this might be one of his funniest crash outs ever, because it was so unnecessary the way he went at her and attacked her, because I don't think she said anything wrong. I think it was quite embarrassing that he didn't know who Filthy is. And instead of, Akademiks saying, yeah, credit, I don't know who Filthy is, he decided to go extra crazy on YesJulz, and here he goes.
Whore YesJulz even trying to talk to me, bitch. You spent half your fucking life on your knees, get your back blown out, and sucking cock guzzling fucking semen, you fucking whore. How dare you talk to me? You done sucked up half the industry talking about Big Ack. You fucking whore. I don't want to hear nothing from no whore today, bruh. Sit your whore ass up.
Jesus Christ.
Get some Listerine.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking cock sucking bitch. When it's dick sucking time, we'll call you. Fuck.
And by the way, all YesJulz said is like, how do you, Filthy is one of Carti's main collaborators in 2025. No, hold on. Let me actually read what she actually said word for word, because I still think it's fucking hilarious that he crashed out over something so innocuous. But I guess he just was embarrassed that he didn't know. And he also, I think, was waiting for an opportunity to crash out on YesJulz. I think he's always wanting to crash out on her. Always, always, always. So let's actually double check. I want to actually read it. What do you say here? Where is it? Yeah, there it is. She says, not knowing Filthy is one of Carti's main collaborators in 2025. As a journalist, covering hip-hop is surely one way to admit you suck at your job. So don't get me wrong. She did add a little bit of spice to it, right? Suck at your job. She could have just said, how could you not know who Filthy is if you're a hip-hop, journalist? That's crazy. And maybe he wouldn't have crashed out at her so much. But I think knowing how Akademiks is, knowing his penchant for crashing out super hard on ladies, right? He loves to go hard at the fucking ladies and use all kind of expletives and whatever else it may be, but not so much with the fellas. It probably is part of that, but I think also he particularly has a problem with YesJulz. There's probably some underlying issues there, maybe behind the scenes we're not aware of. So he uses opportunity as a way to kind of just crash on that 100% because he went fucking crazy. Gonna go.
How don't you know this guy, nigga? Maybe because you sucked up the entire studio for every nigga studio session, you fucking whore. I don't know the runner. I don't know the engineer. I don't know these other niggas. I know the artists. You done sucked everybody's cock. Executive to athletes to fucking producers. You're a whore.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking bitch.
Put him in smoke. Put him in the cuff.
The Carti drops continuing on. It's so good, I'm not gonna lie. Playing the Carti tunes while he's fucking raging at YesJulz. I don't want to get fucking copyright strike. Let's continue. Is he gonna say anything more? Let's go. Come on, Akademiks, give us some more rants, please. I want to hear something more. He's bobbing his head like a little fucking bunny rabbit. He's gonna lose this. He's gonna lose it again one more time. He's gonna lose it again one more time. You know he is. He's gonna lose it again one more time. Give it to us one more time. Come on, Akademiks. Give it to us one more freaking time. He's still bopping his head. No more crashing out? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Why is this clip 2 minutes then if there's no more crashing out? No more crashing out? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Is he gonna crash out one more time? Give it to us one more time. Come on, son. No? Yep, nothing. Okay, that's it. No more crash out. So he stops right there for some reason. But that was an epic crash out for fucking Akademiks. Out of nowhere. Again, part of the Carti rollout. So a good thing nonetheless. So make sure you check out the fucking album. Make sure you check out the fucking album. Moving on. This is pretty crazy news, isn't it? Courtesy of The Independent regarding Gene Hackman. Obviously, some of you know the legendary actor Gene Hackman unfortunately passed away recently. The circumstances around his death are incredibly sad. I think some people were suggesting it might have been some sort of like unaliving thing or something more nefarious, but after the medical examiners done what they needed to do in terms of autopsies and shit, they basically deduced that most likely his wife passed away, who was his main carer because he had Alzheimer's. She was his main kind of carer at home. She passed away of natural causes, and he was basically left at home alone for a week, basically fending for himself, and then he passed from natural causes too after a week of not being basically tended or looked after. And I think the dog also passed away because the dog was really old at the same sort of time, which is really heartbreaking. So that's a really heartbreaking thing to have in your head, like Gene Hackman wandering around his house not knowing what's going on, and his wife just dead, in the house, and he having no ability to kind of call for help. And also the fact that he was alone in the house for a week and not one of his kids called or popped over to check up on the fam. Like, it's kind of wild. But looking at this headline, it kind of makes sense, and what I've read after the fact as well, because this headline, courtesy of The Independent, says Gene Hackman left his children out of his will. leaving fate of 80 million fortune uncertain. So he had $80 million fortune that he left, and he didn't give one piece of it to his kids. And that maybe speaks to why his kids didn't check up on him in a week, because it seems like he had fallen out with his children. I think I read somewhere that he left his kids' mothers, or the mother of his children, for this lady here in the picture, unceremoniously, basically. He basically ran off on them, and I think since then they'd not have any kind of close relationship, which might explain why it kind of ended up the way it ended up. So it's a fucking tragic fucking story to kind of go over. Let me quickly read this. Oh, big up Mr. O in the stream chat as well. Big up chat, big up AZ. What's that? Fact them kids is hilarious. Big up Mr. O, appreciate it. Big up Mr. O. For some reason this alert doesn't go off when I put it on there. I don't know why, but big up Mr. O, appreciate you. Let's continue. It says that there is uncertainty over the fate of Gene Hackman's reputed $80 million fortune after it emerged that he left his entire estate to his late wife Betsy Arakawa. Jesus. So if she's passed away, what are they gonna do? I wonder what happens then. If the person in the will passes away, I wonder who that. I guess it might go to the person's relatives then. I'm assuming the wife's relatives, or would it just default back to the family? The Oscar-winning actor 95 and his classical pianist wife 65 were both found dead at their home in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Last week, authorities announced that Hackman died of heart disease with complications from Alzheimer's disease as much as a week after a rare rodent-borne disease, hantavirus polymerase syndrome, killed his wife. Jesus Christ. Rodent-borne disease. Is that because the house was like dirty and shit? Oh my god. R.I.P. to Gene Hackman. R.I.P. to fucking his wife as well. TMZ reports that Hackman had a will drawn up in 1995 that made Arakawa his sole beneficiary. His 3 children, son Christopher, daughters Leslie and Elizabeth, are not named in the documents. In her own will, Arakawa left most of his assets to Hackman. However, the document also reportedly includes a clause stating if the couple died within 90 days of each other, it would consider a simultaneous death and all assets will be donated to charity. Wow. That is mad. I wonder if that's like just a boomer thing as well. Like a boomer thing of like not wanting to give your kids anything, Like you had to graft because maybe boomers feel like they had to graft really hard to get what they had to get. Why should their kids get an advantage, a leg up, or whatever else it may be? They also have to kind of graft and, go into the fucking mines to get whatever they need to get as well. It's fucking wild. Hackman's son, Christopher, has reportedly already hired a lawyer, Andrew M. Kreinstein, and prominent California trust and estate attorney, which could indicate he plans to challenge his father's will. That is really sad, isn't it? That's really dark. When someone passes away, instead of mourning the loss of that person, people are scrambling, fighting over who's going to retain the rights of this, who's going to have the money for that. Oy. Dark shit. And obviously there's a picture there of Gene Hackman and his wife in 1993, looking in much better spirits. Earlier today, a representative for Hackman State sought to block the public release of the autopsy and investigative reports relating to the deaths of the actor and the wife. Representative Julia Peters urged the State District of Santa Fe to seal the records and cases to protect the family's rights to privacy and grief under the 14th Amendment. She emphasizes the possible shocking nature of photographs and police body camera videos investigation, the potential for their decimation by the media. Yeah, I don't think we need to see that, do we? I don't think we need to see those pictures disseminated to the media. I don't think we need to see those pictures of Gene Hackman's last moments, the state of the house, all this malarkey. We don't need to see that. I think we got kind of a vivid picture of that and what's going on, especially considering their age, especially considering the wife died of that fucking rodent-borne disease. I think we will have a fucking understanding of what happened there. We don't need to see anything else apart from that. The request filed on Tuesday also described the couple's discreet lifestyle in Santa Fe since Hackman's retirement. The couple lived an exemplary private life over the last 30 years in Santa Fe, Mexico, and did not showcase their lifestyle. New Mexico's open record law blocks public access to sensitive images, including depictions of people who are deceased, said Amanda Levin, legal director of the non-profit New Mexico Foundation for the Open Government. Some medical information is also not considered public record under the State Inspections of Public Records Act. At the same time, the bulk of death investigations by law enforcement and autopsy reports by medical investigators are typically considered public records under the state law. She says, I do think it infringes on transparency. I do think it does infringe on transparency to court were to prohibit release of the investigative records, including autopsies. The whole idea of those records being available to ensure accountability to those investigations are done. There's also a public health concern given the hantavirus was involved. Oh, okay, that's a good point actually. That is a good point. with that hantavirus involved. Yeah, she said the preemptive request to prevent the release of documents and records of constitutional grounds is unusual. Man, RIP to Gene Hackman, RIP to his wife. Really does put it in perspective for you just how troubling, just how fucking messy families can get in it. Because I don't know, man. Like, I get he like, I guess that's probably that kind of hurt, because I've never experienced it, but the hurt of like a parent running away or leaving you must be hard to get over in it, because I don't think I've seen many instances where the kids forgive the parent. It doesn't happen too easily, even if it's a mum that leaves and comes back. I think the action of like giving your kid up for adoption, running out on your kids, that can just permanently scar children even until their adult age. I think there was even a clip I remember seeing of Gene Hackman talking about how his dad or someone mistreated him, and he was recounting, I think inside the actor studio. He was really old and he was in tears. Like something that happened when he was a child. He was recounting it. I was like, rotted. Those are scars that probably never fucking heal, or wounds that never heal, sorry. So you can only imagine what those kids went through, having their father, Gene Hackman, kind of run off on them, essentially, which I've heard online. I'm not sure if that's true, and hook up with this new lady, essentially kind of probably made them feel very, very bad, and probably they never ever reconciled, ever along the way. So much so that even, I think when he wrote this will, he wrote the will in 1995, and there was no point between 1995 to 2022 when they reconciled or he'd include them back on his will at all. He'd rather give all that money away to charity, which is pretty wild. It kind of shows you just where they were, because sometimes you read accounts where maybe the parent wasn't present, maybe they didn't run off, but they weren't really attentive or present, and they still leave money to the kids. But when they run off, I think that contempt on both sides can just lead to problems that can be hard to reconcile. So RIP to them. Hopefully they're in a better place, and hopefully the kids are able to kind of figure this out, because that money going to a charity and just ending up in some NGO's coffers and then going to expense, someone's night out isn't great either. Do you know what I mean? Because that's not going to be used well. It's not going to be used well. It's not going to be allocated in the best way. It's just going to pay people salaries. So it probably should go to the children or to some people in the family who probably need it most. But hey, what can you do? What can you do? Look at this, bro. Look at this. Look at this. France's new high-speed trains were just revealed, and they look incredible. They do indeed look incredible. I have a new fondness and love for European trains, because I went to Amsterdam recently and I was on a train. I went to Berlin recently and I took more trains and trams and shit. The trams and train systems within Europe are so fucking good, and I really, really do regret not taking advantage of them, especially when we're in the European Union. Now you can only travel in Europe for like 90 days max, but when we're in the European Union, I should have taken more advantage of it and did the whole like European tour via rail lines and shit within different countries in Europe and shit, and really seen different places, because some of the trains that they have, like the train system in general is far better than what we have here in the UK. Really good, really fast ones. They're always on time, super comfortable. Some of them are double decker, triple deckers. Some of them have fucking Wi-Fi that works. And they end up in really cool locations and shit that help you discover different parts of the country you probably never seen. So I really wish I would take more advantage of it. And I really do wish we had also high-speed trains of a similar sort of quality. So in this particular picture, you have the interior of this new inner city for high-speed train in France, where the seats are red. They got cool lamps on the fucking tables, right? Foldable desks that you can kind of fold in between you. You've got a lamp, so if you want to read, you can also check out. And just the colors in general. You don't really see this usually in trains anywhere, really. These are usually stuff you see in concept drawings, but for some reason the France government decided to approve these. Like, this is incredible. All these different colors, the blues, the purples on these bench sheets. The chairs look very ergonomically correct and comfortable as well. Everything looks fucking beautiful. There's got a backrest. What is that? Is that a charge to put your phone charge in? Yeah. There's even a plug here to put your phone charge in. There's a little section here to put your books and whatever else. Magazines. You've got a place to put your fucking drinks as well. A nice table, decent view. A hanger to hang your hat or your jacket as well. That's pretty handy. All fucking looks incredible. So big up fucking France. Let's read through the article that describes more of what's going on here. Inside look at the French TGV. It says here, the first images of the interior of the new high-speed TGV trains that are set to start circulating in France soon have been released, showcasing a sleek design, Sleek indeed. The TGV M series, a 5th generation TGV trains produced by the French rail operator SNCF, manufacturers of Alstom, are set to begin carrying passengers at the start of 2026, which is pretty cool soon, isn't it? They're really going to be in fucking rotation. That's amazing. Initially, they'll be used for Paris, Lyon, and Marseille corridor, the busiest high-speed line in France, before being phased into before being phased in across the rest of the network, which is pretty sick. There's also another section here. I think this is the section for the disabled riders, I think, if I'm not mistaken here. Maybe, if I'm not mistaken. Older 5th generation or 4th generation trains are likely to be reused. The trains will also be able to carry 20% more passengers than current models, thanks to extra carriages, increasing numbers per train to 740. They'll also provide increased accessibility for disabled travelers with dedicated coach that is fully compatible for wheelchair users and includes a lift between the 2 floors of the train. That's fucking cool. So that might be the lifting. That might be a lift that takes you to the 2nd floor, which is something as well that you see in Europe. You see trains with 2 floors, which is incredible. I think that one train that I took when I went to Berlin last had a really nice area where you could basically put your luggage. It was a nice big area that you could put a pram or a luggage without being disturbed. Ticketing will also be different. Tickets for the new trains will show 3 digits instead of 2, showing the carriages your seat is in to minimize confusion. Wi-Fi capabilities are also strengthened, allowing passengers with a 5G compatible mobile contract to benefit from improved connectivity. Fewer doors will also be installed between carriages, allowing passengers extra visibility of their suitcases or luggage racks. Oh, I like that. That's actually a good idea. Fewer doors on that. One possible downside of these changes is that the train will only be able to carry 8 bikes overall, 2 in the first class, 6 in second class. The SNC, however, says that this is more the law requirements of 6, made up of those other benefits of trade. Yeah, that's okay. I don't think there's going to be, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I don't tend to see a bunch of people on trains with bikes. Obviously, some people do because it's handy to kind of cover long distances and then, you know, make up rest on the bike. But usually, you don't really see a bunch of people taking, you know, their bikes on the trains. But maybe it's different if it's a commuter thing. Who knows? Sleek new design. The train's made up of 90% recyclable material, says SMC, which has helped to contribute to a total redesign of the train's interior. The structural elements of the seats are also said to be designed and dimensioned to the last 30 years. The design itself is a retro-futuristic feel, sleek and laid back, with colours that are prominent but not garish. The red-blue colour scheme is placed for the seats, and the red being used for first class and blue for standard class. Okay, cool. That's actually a good denomination of the seats there. I just love that there's colour involved, to be fair, because most trains, most public fucking transport shits, the fucking colours aren't that great. They're usually muted. They're usually a bit garish. So it's just refreshing to actually see trains that have like a bit of colour in them, you know? And every part of it looks quite fancy because of the colour, because of the design, because of the sleekness. Seats in the standard class will be having additional plug sockets. Currently, sockets are shared between 2 passengers, a mini table, and up to 5 centimeters of extra legroom. A major overhaul in the train's bar carriage has been carried out. The bar, to be referred to as Le Bistro for now, covers 2 floors as opposed to the current single-story floor, which is something as well they have in Europe we don't have here much of, I don't think. Is that trains that have like a little bar section where you can kind of get some drinks or snack and shit. The bottom floor is reserved for self-service, including self-service fridges, coffee machines, as well as microwaves, and paid for via self-service checkouts. That is sick. There's gonna be a microwave. I don't know. I'm not just sure how happy I'll be if I'm sitting in a train and somebody's fucking, you know, reheating their fucking, you know, fucking, what you call it, chicken vindaloo or something. You're not going to be too happy if you have somebody, you know, putting their curry on fucking max in the fucking microwave while you're on the train to fucking Marseille to Paris. Upper section is mezzanine, fully reserved for sit-down dining, and will seat up to 28 passengers. So this is, I guess, this is the dining section, and probably the kitchen is somewhere down there, which is great. But yeah, big up France, man. I wish we had something similar, but the Tories cancelled it. We're gonna have a train system that was gonna carry from London all the way to the Midlands and up north and shit, but they didn't put it through. That would have also kind of helped the economy as well in terms of allowing people to maybe commute, you know, from London to places in the Midlands and up north. But you know, that didn't happen. Who knows? Maybe they might bring it back later on going forward. But still, I love this improvement. I freaking love this improvement. Continuing on, big up Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian decided, or Perfect Magazine decided to put out a very timely Kim Kardashian cover for Perfect Magazine, which everybody in the timeline is going really crazy for. Not really because of the front cover, to be fair, which is, you know, what it is. Mostly for the editorial inside the magazine itself that features Kim Kardashian splayed, posing next to a Tesla bot, which is weird, the timing, because Tesla and Elon and everything associated with Elon's going through a pretty hard time lately. For once, you're seeing Elon's actions actually impacting his businesses to the point where it seems like he's close to a breakdown. He had his interview, I think, with Fox or CNN, where it looked like he was close to tears when he basically was asked how he's managed to juggle things. From what I've been able to read and, you know, see online, he's committing most of his time to Doge and working with the government. I think he's basically seen that, you know, all the money in the world is one thing, but that power, that access to the government, you know, basically being the president's right hand man, he basically acts like he's acting way more like Trump's vice president as opposed to JD Vance. You know, that is probably something money can never buy, and he's probably never going to have the access to the White House again. You know, when Trump maybe loses, or maybe, you know, obviously the next election comes back around. I don't think he can run again, having already served as president before, which is a weird way to do it, by the way. I think if you serve 2 terms, fair enough, but it's weird how you can serve 1 term, but then you can't serve a second term if you win again. Do you know what I mean? It's weird, but I guess that will count as free if you did serve a term. I mean, that's what you might do it. Anyway, regardless, the timing seems very weird. People are thinking that she's being used to basically clean Elon's image, to basically try to, you know, whatever else it may be when it comes to Tesla and media. I don't think that's accurate. I think these covers, these editorials are put together way in advance. This was probably done months or even a year ago, considering what's happening now with Tesla and the economy. I don't think this is anything linked to it, but the timing is very, very weird, right? The timing is very weird, very coincidental that now she's out here splayed across the covers or the pages of Perfect magazine, posing with a Tesla bot. In this particular image, she's posing at in the back of her Cybertruck with 2 cameramen, one of them being a man and one of them being a Tesla bot, which is kind of funny, right? Here, a Tesla bot holding a camera, recording footage of fucking Kim Kardashian. There's Kim Kardashian taking a selfie with the Tesla bot as well, which is fucking funny, I quite think, as well. A nice little close up there. Kim again with her Tesla bot having a great time. Kim lying down next to the beach on a bed with her Tesla bot, which is kind of freaky. Caressing the chest of her Tesla bot here next to her Cybertruck, holding a hand of her Tesla bot as she fucking lays next to the pool. Like, pretty freaky spread. But I don't think this is a paid promotion to sort of clean up the image of Tesla. I think this was done time ago, but it just maybe doesn't, you know, it kind of leaves a bad taste in the mouth considering what's going on now in media or in pop culture in terms of what's happening with fucking Elon Musk and shit. But regardless, Tesla, regardless, she looks pretty good in the cover. I wouldn't mind actually buying the magazine just for the cover itself. I think it's quite funny to see Kim next to a Tesla bot like this. Perfect magazine 8.5. Was it coming out? No, I guess, was it November 2020? No, Malibu. Okay, I think she wrote the date because to give people an idea when it was photographed. So probably this shoot was done on November 2024. I think that's why she included that in the caption. Super no wild one. But Perfect magazine dropping soon. Check that out. Kim on the cover alongside a Tesla bot. Then we got this news courtesy of Sky News regarding Noel Clarke. I'm really confused by the headline because I saw something on the Shade Bar that said, what are the accusers in this ongoing Noel Clarke affair had basically said that whatever happened to her in terms of getting sexually assaulted or groped, whatever, didn't happen. So I'm not too sure what the fuck's going on here with Noel Clarke. But if you don't know, Noel Clarke, actor and director extraordinaire, got cancelled a couple of years ago because some actresses and people in the industry came out and basically said he's a bit of a creep behind the scenes. Some of them, I think, gave anonymous accounts of what happened to them, interactions with Noel Clarke that weren't too great, and some of them went on record and basically said, I think one in particular, the one that really disturbed people was the one where Noel Clarke was asking her to send naked pictures or something for an audition. I think something along those kind of lines. So I'm not too sure if that's the actress that's saying that it didn't happen, but this is an article courtesy of Sky News. It says Noel Clarke, actress said to have been groped by actor, tells court it is a lie. So let's actually read what happens here because I'm actually needing clarification because some of the headlines I've seen on the Shade Bar are really hard to decipher. So it says here, an actress who said to have been groped by Noel Clarke has defended the actor in his libel case against The Guardian. Clarke is suing The Guardian News and media GMN GNM over 7 articles and a podcast, including an article in April 2021 that said 20 women who knew him professionally had come forward with allegations of misconduct. Clarke denies the allegations, while GNM is defending its reporting as being both true and in the public interest. At a hearing on Friday, actress Louise Dillon said she had heard through a friend that Clarke's former business partner David Fairbanks had claimed he saw her being groped by Clarke at a rap party for the Knot. What a weird fucking thing to include in this court case. So she's denying that some person said that she got groped, but she's not denying that she got groped. After learning of the current libel case, she wrote an email to Clarke, who she described as a friend, in which she said the allegations were untrue. So one of Noel Clarke's friends is backing him up and saying he's not a creep. Is that what we're basically trying to go off the back of? I don't know if this is solid, man. This is a weird defense. I think Noel Clarke needs to have, and it's a strange thing to take a paper like that to court, because they would probably have to vet their sources and shit. That's what journalists usually do. So if push comes to shove and they have to reveal who the sources are, they're gonna step forward and maybe offer some more information that might make this worse. So I'm not too sure if this libel thing is really the right way to go. But I guess if you're Noel Clarke and your reputation has been damaged irreversibly so, and your name has been tarnished, you kind of need this. You need this to be cleared up in the courts. You can't just let it play. You can't let the fucking dust settle, because no one's gonna work with you again because they think it's gonna be true. So you have to kind of act like it's not true, at least, I guess. But I don't know. Some of the accounts I remember reading were very detailed, and they came from all sorts of people. People like actresses, hair and makeup people as well. Like, I don't know. But let's continue. After learning she told the High Court in London, someone told the Guardian that he had assaulted me, and I wrote this email because it's not true. A friend called me and said that had not happened. I told Noel that he has my support because it's a lie. She also said that she never spoke to journalists from the Guardian. The Guardian did not report the allegations. Of course. So why? Okay, so the Guardian did not report the allegations by Miss Dillon. So she's just denying something that she heard some other guy say. Why is she even involved? This is such a bizarre case. She said that they are reporters who are supposed to research an article before publishing something. I was told I had spoken to these journalists to corroborate a story, but I had not. She said that she had been at a rap party with her friend and her boyfriend following a group dinner beforehand. She said she did not remember the rap party too well, adding, I don't remember the specifics of the party other than we had a nice time. Philip Williams, representing Clarke, previously told the court in written submissions that the actor had clearly established the falsity of the allegations. The barrister continued that his client is barely able to reapply to allegations published by the Guardians and was perceived as a criminal by those who previously trusted and worked with him. Gavin Miller KC for GNM said his written submissions that the paper did not simply accept what it was said. Much time and resources was devoted to getting to the truth. He also said that there was ample evidence that all the articles were true or substantially true. Clarke, who's best known for his role as Doctor Who and Kidulthood movie trilogy, had his BAFTA membership and Outstanding British Contribution to Cinema award suspended following the allegations. He later dropped the legal action he brought against the charity. The hearing before Mr. Justice is due to conclude next month, with a decision expected in writing at a later date. I don't know, man. I get why he's doing it, because the allegations are pretty crazy and they're going to put a smudge on his name. But I think this whole affair is just making it worse. I think most people probably have forgotten about this. There is probably an angle that he probably could move on, but maybe he just is unwilling to it. Because the problem with these allegations is, even if it's not true, the damage is already done, right? The damage is already done. And he's probably unwilling to move on and accept that his career now is essentially over in terms of mainstream TV, in terms of big budget movies and shit. That's going to be done. But if he wants to still create on a sort of like lower level, I guess, local level, maybe a theater level, he could probably still do few things. He could probably still put out movies or whatever series independently if he wants to. Maybe a bit more, it'll be harder. He'd have to raise the money himself, blah, 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 blah. But the industry is very fickle. And we've already seen his friends ditch him. I think Asher D was one of the big first ones to kind of distance himself from Noel Clarke, even though they were friends, and he could probably give him the benefit of the doubt and waited until the conclusion of this court case. But he made it very clear that they're not the same person. So I think all those type of things, unfortunately, have basically told us what's exactly going on, and essentially man's career is done out here. But I guess in his case, he doesn't want to accept it just yet, which I understand as well, because, you know, it's a big fucking deal. But this is probably going to make things worse, because I remember their accounts that they described were pretty detailed. And from time people like hair and makeup people start getting involved in those allegations, because it's one thing to say, you know, actresses are looking for money and clout. That could be possible. You know, people that work in the industry who are probably camera facing and shit. Fair enough. But people who are behind the scenes, you know, saying that you're not a good guy and corroborating other stories about your behavior, that's not a good sign. And that's not a good sign of slightest. And I also remember the interview you had with ZZ Mills. He didn't come across the greatest either, to be completely fair to him. So it's not looking good for Noel Clarke. It really isn't looking good for Noel Clarke. But I do, in a weird way, respect him trying to fight and clear his name. But I think he's doing more damage than good. I honestly think he's doing more damage than good. But I could be wrong. Who freaking knows? Next, I want to talk about WavyYute. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like this girl. She's a bit fucking nuts. No, she's not a bit fucking nuts. She is immensely nuts. I'd go as far as saying there's probably some undiagnosed mental health issues going on there. But I do like her persistence and consistency in being unapologetically herself on social media. It kind of rubs people up the wrong way, as you can tell by the reactions from the comment section here on the Shade Borough. She's jarring. That gift there, your man called you a bop. It's okay. This is his fave bop, whatever. But I think her demeanor and how she talks and how she presents herself on social is very authentic. It's very much her. Like, at least she gives you everything, right? She's authentically her. So if you ever did bump into her real life, you know you're going to get this very same person if you saw her in the street. So I kind of don't mind her, however unhinged she comes across.
Guys, why the fuck do men keep speaking to me? Do you not know I have a boyfriend? Do you not understand that I do not care about any other man on this planet other than my boyfriend? I'm going to start walking around with a fucking flag that says I have a boyfriend, because as a matter of fact, I hate men other than my man. So please, stop fucking talking. Guys.
Like, could you imagine how fun it would be to be on a session with her? Could you imagine how fun it would be to get on it with her? A couple of cheeky ones, a couple of fucking bumps, a couple of lines, a couple of bevies, you know, out on a dance floor somewhere. She'd be a fucking laugh. She'd be fucking fun on the night out. Like, she'd be a fucking good friend to hang out with. You know it, right? She'll probably, you know, even if you're a man dim, she'll probably be a good fucking wing girl, help you hook up with some people and shit. She might just be fun just to hang out with in general. From times of picking up to going to an event to getting out an afters. Like, imagine if you bumped into an afters, how much fun you'd have just, you know, just fucking chatting it off in somewhere, in the fucking toilet somewhere while you rack up. She'd be a fucking vibe. But would you want to talk to her every single day? She'd probably be the same person that would probably send you like a 9-minute voice note or something, right? Whatever the time limit is on the fucking WhatsApp or iMessage or fucking, you know, Instagram. But she would definitely make you laugh. I ain't too mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at this unapologetically unhinged self. I just would take her in, you know, in fucking little bits, you know. I can't do it all the way, but I don't mind her existence. But I do like the fact that she clearly is annoying people on social. People saying she's cringe. People saying, "What is this her first man? Because why is she grinding like this?" It's a good point. Use this as she needs to come if the internet and go and be into hideout. Someone says I've got the perfect company where I can get a hair transplant, the truest yam head. She edging very close to what's needing to be sectioned, some dead ting gassing. I'll pack it in, trying to convince her man she's all about him. Yeah, there's probably a bit of overcompensation there. There's probably whatever else going on there. Maybe some insecurities, you know, covering itself as maybe being confident, maybe some delusions of grandeur. But I'm also not, you know, under the assumption, you know, in London, someone that looks like her, racially ambiguous, she's probably going to get a lot of attention in the street. I don't think she's lying about being hollered at consistently. You know, she's got fucking colored eyes. She's light. No matter what people on the internet think she might look like, I think on the roads, you know, especially here in London, we're probably starved of, you know, some good-looking women in general, especially the ones who aren't taken. So probably I'm not surprised that people are online or in the streets saying something so in the streets. But, you know, God bless WavyYute. God bless WavyYute. Okie dokie, my friends. It has been the Agostinho's English Show episode number 886. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to have your company. For those of you tuning into the show live, I appreciate you. Smash the like button down below if you've enjoyed the show. Those of you who are tuning in after the fact on the podcast app, I appreciate you also. Thank you for tuning in. You know how we do. You know what we do. For those of you listening to the podcast app, you know my tune of the day today is going to be taken from Music. I'm going to select my tune that I still do love today, and I'm going to actually play it as my song of the day for you. Those of you who are listening via the audio side of the podcast, it's going to be called Track 20, which is called Cocaine Nose, unironically enough. So Cocaine Nose Track 20 from Playboi Carti's Music is my song of the day. But those of you watching via the YouTube, unfortunately, you won't hear it. But of course, check it out on your DSPs if you're that way inclined. For those of you watching via the live stream, you'll be, switched over or redirected to the random show. So don't leave here just yet. Redirected to the random show, which is going to be starting in about 5 minutes. And everybody else, I appreciate you greatly. And I'll see you guys again very, very, very soon. Thank you for taking part. Thank you for hanging out with me. Links and everything else with me in the description. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Peace.